Bitcoins. You've probably heard of them, but at least for me, it's kind of tough to wrap my head around what they're all about. So we have recruited Ethan Ergalician, who actually hosts a Bitcoin radio show in the United States, to try and help us establish a little concrete info about Bitcoins.
Right.
Thank you for coming in.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Jeremy.
I guess, so Bitcoin's a virtual currency, more or less. Why? Why?
I love questions like this because it's kind of like I envision somebody in the late 80s, early 90s saying, why internet? Why on earth would you, what would you use it for? When it comes to Bitcoin, there are a broad range of applications. I mean, even something as crazy as decentralizing domain name registration. So there's a great project out there called meowbit.com that does that. But that's a lot of stuff like that's probably esoteric for people.
Yeah.
What people are really concerned with right now in respect to Bitcoin would be more relative to the fact that it's a currency. So Bitcoin is a currency unit, and also it's a global payment network that spans the entire world. It's borderless, it's frictionless, and very cheap to use. So that's really what I think most people would find some sort of relative relevancy to.
Okay, so they exist digitally. They're basically computer code, which means anyone can just make them. Isn't that's how do they remain away from something that can be constantly reproduced?
Right. So this is actually something that in the field of computer science, Bitcoin came along and solved a problem that had existed for decades, right? Bitcoin is a decentralized ledger system. It's audited by people around the world in a trustless fashion. So you have disinterested third parties verifying transactions to make sure that if you spend, your Bitcoin here, you didn't send it off to another 10 or 100 people in a counterfeit transaction.
Okay. So this is something new for the computer world.
Right. Well, I mean, because we have our legacy banking system. You think of banks, right? And they send transactions between each other, and they trust each other, right?
Right.
But if I were to send a transaction to you individually, then maybe you don't know if the electronic money I've sent you is secure, is not counterfeit. And this is something that Bitcoin absolutely solves with a mining network.